Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Llamaster here, and welcome back to another Rocket League video. And in this one, guys, we are just going to be talking about a bunch of the possible items, maps, and crates in the next update that is going to most likely come out fairly soon. Now, at this point in time, nothing is confirmed yet, so we are just going to be speculating a bunch, but there are some certain things that do definitely have a very good chance of being in the next update. So specifically in this video, we're going to be going over some awesome crate design concepts from this really cool Reddit user, and then we're also going to be talking about things such as possible map designs, mystery decal designs, and then of course wheels and boosts. But anyways, guys, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like down below. It only takes a second and it helps me out a ton. And without further ado now, let's get into it. Alright guys, so before we get into all the concepts and designs of pretty much everything that we get in a usual update, I thought it would first make a bunch more sense to tell you guys when the next update is most likely going to come out. So we kind of talked about this a little bit in my modded map showcase video this week, but for those of you who didn't see that video, and you really honestly should have, but pretty much I'm predicting that the next update will come out the 7th of next month on February. Now the reason I think that is just by looking at the previous times that we've gotten these updates in the past. Pretty much every single update that we've received has been every month or every other month, and since we didn't get an update this month besides that little random one that fixed some bugs, I would definitely say that the next update is coming around sometime around the 7th of next month. Now, of course, with this update, I could definitely see us getting another crate. Again, looking at the rate at which we've gotten new crates in the previous updates, it makes a ton of sense to expect one fairly soon. Now, with that being said, I thought it would be a really cool idea to show you guys some possible crate concept designs made by this awesome Reddit user that goes by the name of the Cyanide X. Now, this guy, I'm not 100% sure why he did it. I'm sure it was just for fun or to practice his photoshopping skills, but he came up with a ton of awesome designs for possible new crates. So I believe there's about 14 in total, so we're not going to spend too much time on each individual one, but we are definitely going to go through all of them because they are absolutely sick. So the first one here, and actually the first three, are based on this military type crate idea, and these are probably the most simple out of all of his designs. Some of them at the end get just crazy, but with the first one we have just kind of this digital camo on the side, a bunch of grays and blacks, which looks pretty clean, but definitely the second one is picking it up with that classic Rocket League sort of in your face color style, because we've got that light blue, which is pretty much my favorite color right there, along with the grays, and then finally we have this white and black one that is kind of a tuxedo crate, but definitely looks sick. Now within these crates they could, you know, do a theme. We haven't really ever gotten a specific themed crate, so that too could be an awesome idea. But these, you know, you could maybe see some test ones. I could see like the ARA 51s being in a quote-unquote military crate, so stuff like that could definitely be a possibility. Now the next one here isn't going to be a possibility because this is the Halloween crate. Now this one looks really cool with the orange and black, but since Halloween was, you know, not all that long ago, this one would definitely have to wait quite a while before we ever even have the possibility of seeing it. Now with this one, this would actually be a really cool idea if they do decide to do it next Halloween, because hear me out here, imagine like a haunted house themed arena. Like maybe you're just playing just outside the haunted house, but then you could just have this really spooky arena with like ghosts flying in the background. You have that awesome classical Halloween sky with the full moon up there. That would actually be awesome, and considering that we got a Christmas themed map with the Utopia snowy one, I think there could definitely be a good chance of seeing something like this next Halloween. Now moving on to the fifth crate, this one is the pink graffiti crate, and also the next one is just a variation on this with the lime green graffiti crate, but these are pretty cool. Again, they're fairly simple, and I'm not quite sure what would be in this crate. Maybe obviously just using that graffiti type art style to design some of the decals, maybe the wheels, and actually that would make a really cool boost. Just having like that spray paint type design, or at least maybe with a bunch of those lines kind of mixing together to form that sort of boost. I know that wasn't the best explanation, but hopefully you get the idea that I'm going with here. So moving on again, this one we could still actually get because it is the winter crate, and this one is amazing. I really like the look of this one, especially with that frozen effect on the side. He really knocked this one out of the park, and we could still possibly see it because we're in right smack dab middle of winter, and we still could probably get some winter themed items. But again, that still wouldn't allow that much creativity, so we probably won't see something like that soon. Moving on to the next one here. This one is definitely one of my favorite designs. This one goes by the name of the Steampunk Crate, and as you can see, it just looks really cool. It's got this sort of older type style to it, which is definitely a very cool contrast to the futuristic type Rocket League that we all know and love. And this could just introduce a bunch of steampunk themed items. Now, if you don't know what steampunk is, and most of you probably do, it's just this sort of type of art style, so to say, that goes with a lot of sort of older mechanical bronze type stuff. So you could possibly see something like an exotic wheel or something being made up of a bunch of moving cogs, and that actually would be really cool. As for other items, I'm not quite sure how that would work, especially with like mystery decals, but overall I really like the concept idea of this. As for the next one, this one we kind of missed here, but this is the Space Crate, which of course would have gone with the Starbase Arc update. Now this honestly would have fit perfectly on that update. Instead of getting that sort of yellowish crate, which isn't the coolest looking one, I would have definitely rather had something like this. And again, we could have had some more themed items, despite the sort of random ones that we got, such as the Zombas, which still look amazing. I absolutely love the Zombas, but it would have been cool to see some themed space items. Now again, speaking of themed items, we have the Supersonic Acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars crate. Every time I have to say that, it is a freaking nightmare. But yeah, with this one, it'd be really cool to see some maybe classic boosts or trails, and I'm not even 100% sure if they had custom boosts. I think they would. But either way, it'd be cool to see that type of stuff come back in this sort of classic crate idea. Moving on again, here we have just 3 more of these crate designs left, and they keep getting crazier. As you can see here, we have the vintage crate. Now this one, it has some style to it. I think he was trying to get more of a gold type color, and if he was, that would definitely be really cool. Having like a sort of chrome type gold mystery decal or just a regular decal, I would be pretty down for that. As for the second to last one here, we have the Summer Crate. So this one, as with all of them, as we've already said, it is a very cool and unique design, and I could actually see this going with a new map, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But moving on to the final crate concept art here, we have the Underwater Crate. Now this one again missed its chance here because this would have been sick with the Aquadome update, just because, you know, it's got water in it. But yeah, that's still kind of like, doesn't really leave a lot of mystery there. So this concept probably wouldn't work, but I like the idea behind it and possible water themed items, which we will talk about fairly soon. But anyways, that is all of the crate designs. I thought you guys would really enjoy seeing these. I personally thought they were amazing and that this guy did an amazing job with them. So I thought you guys might enjoy them. But anyways, let's move on here to some more speculation type stuff of arenas and specifically items within these crates. But starting off with the arenas here, and the first one here, the one that I was talking about with the Summer Crate, would be by having this sort of jungle type temple arena. So try and imagine here just playing in this super thick jungle with these giant trees on the sides, and then the arena itself would be made out of these sort of old weathered stones to give it that sort of just very, very old and beaten down feel. To me, I think this would make for a sick map. Now, I'm not 100% sure how they would do the see-through walls, and considering that's a pretty necessary thing, that might just be a bit of a problem. As for the other idea here, and again, I talked about this in my modded map video, I definitely could see us getting a Stadium V2. This map has been highly requested, again from Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars, but yeah, it showed up in the Steam Workshop as a modded map that somebody put into the game, and I played around on it a bit, and I could definitely see it coming in as another sort of experimental type map. It did seem fairly odd at first being able to go behind the net, but after I mess around with it a bit, I think it could be a lot of fun. And it's not like we haven't had maps like this before, considering we have Neo Tokyo and Starbase Arc, which are just as crazy. I see no reason why we couldn't have this one in the next update. As for the third and final map idea, this one comes from the user NerdWord on Reddit. I'm not 100% sure if he's the original person that came up with this idea, but I saw it and thought it would definitely be very cool, and his idea was that we should have sort of this miniaturized toy field. So yeah, the scale of Rocket League has always been kind of confusing, but having a map like this where you have like just giant toys on the side of the map, that would definitely be a very unique map and one that I would love to see. But anyways, enough time talking about arenas. Let's get into some crate ideas, and first of all, let's go straight into it with the mystery decals. Now, I was actually super surprised to see that we got Hexed and Biomass in the last crate. That was a huge surprise, and I can't really decide if we could get one in the next crate, because because as you know, in the Champions Crate 3, we didn't get a new decal, but since we only got 2 new ones in the last crate, I'm still not 100% sure. But anyways, if we do get one of the designs that I think would be absolutely sick is if we had this sort of moving clouds and lightning type decal. So you know those days when a thunderstorm is rolling in, you look out there and you see the clouds with the lightning just going through it? Just imagine that as a decal in the game. I think that would look sick and would definitely go amazing with lightning wheels, so there could be a good chance that we might see that. Now another idea I had was just sort of maybe this spectrum type decal that cycles through all of the colors, and this one might just be a little too aggressive or too flashy, so maybe we just tone it down a bit and go with 2 colors pulsing back and forth. I definitely think that's not too much, but it's still on par with the other decals that we have while still being unique. As for the last one here, and this one kind of goes with the water crate that we looked at, this one would sort of be like an ocean water / wave type decal. So for this one, just imagine like rough seas and these giant waves moving across the car to just create this really interesting decal. Moving on again now to the exotic wheels, these ones are a little harder to come up with. However, a couple of the ones that I think would be pretty cool is again having that sort of spectrum or just color pulsing type design. Now what's kind of weird about this is we sort of got a tiny glimpse of this in the spiralis wheels, because as you probably already know, if you look at the middle of the spiralis wheels, they have this spectrum cycle that goes through every single color. Now just imagine something like that on a sort of Zamba type wheel where it just goes through every single color. That would honestly be pretty insane. As for the second idea I had here, what if we had a sort of optical illusion type wheel? Like for example, imagine if we had like a spiral type wheel. That might be too simple, but I think you get where I'm going here. Having something like this or maybe like a 3D illusion would definitely make a very cool wheel. Now as for the final thing in the crates that everybody is interested in, and no, I'm not talking about import cars because that is pretty much just random. I honestly don't know which one they would pick next. I'm instead talking about the trails. Now these as well, I couldn't even really come up with a good idea just because again they're so stylized that I'm not 100% sure what we would get in the next one. Again, I could see maybe a sort of spiral type one or that graffiti type design that we talked about earlier, but other than that, this one is honestly really hard to predict. But anyways guys, that's gonna be it for all my ideas. That is definitely not all of them out there, so if you have an idea, be sure to leave it down below in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys come up with, and who knows, you might just guess the next crate item. But other than that guys, again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm the Llamacer, and I will see you guys next time.